Javier Glatt is a retired pro football player who played 8 seasons in the Canadian Football League, including 7 years with the BC Lions, where they won a Grey Cup championship in 2006 and a year with Edmonton. In 2014, Javier co-founded CAD Makers, an industry-leading construction and manufacturing technology company headquartered in Burnaby, BC. Javier holds an MBA from SFU and a Bachelor of Arts from UBC. Welcome, Javier!
Hi. I can't hear anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so I assume we're good to go?
Yes, you're good to go, Javier.
Okay, great. Hi, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity. Very nice to connect with everyone. My name is Javier Glatt. I am a recovering professional football player and turned entrepreneur, and I'm going to talk a little bit about my journey today. I got to tell you in advance, in practicing this, right before this call, I started practicing, and it's the first time I've really had a chance to organize my thoughts of my last 7-year journey. And it was highly emotional for me. So hopefully I don't sob like a baby a couple times throughout this, because it's bringing up some deep emotions here. So I'll try my best. So why don't I get into it? So today I just want you to know, I know we've got students of different ages, but I'm going to treat you like an adult today. So my intention is to focus on telling my story in a way that brings the most value to you. And I could just, regale you with, stories of starting the company and all these great things that happened. But instead, I'm actually going to go in a different direction. I'm going to break this down into smaller chunks of what I've really learned and what's important, at least from my perspective, so that hopefully you can get better from this and it can have an impact on your future trajectory. The reason, and so some of the concepts may seem a bit advanced for high school kids potentially, but in entrepreneurship, there's no age groups, right? It's a full body contact type situation. There's no ages, there's no credentials to rely on, there's no excuses. In short, it brings me my first lesson learned. No one cares. So no one cares. What does this mean? It's what you do and how you do it that matters, right? Not what you wear, what you look like, how old you are. Now, some people get different advantages in different things. If you had Harvard MBA, maybe you have some doors that open. But ultimately, when you start actually performing, it's about what you do and how you do it that matters. No one cares how old you are, how experienced. No one cares. No, if you don't bring value to your customer, you won't succeed. No one cares. If you don't motivate your team to grow and continue to have growth in their career and get better, no one cares. You're going to have a tough time. You had a tough day at work, and now your customer calls you and beats you up and wants you to drop your prices. No one cares. You got to kill them with kindness, do what it takes to make the customer happy, get up the next day and keep going. Right? So it's a real interesting lesson I've learned. Next one. And by the way, I threw this just in a random order of just like, what are the most meaningful things I've learned in my 7 years of entrepreneurship. So we started the company 7 years ago. This is our 7th year as of this month, basically. And so this is everything I've learned. Leaders eat last. So you better get ready to punt everything and put everyone else first. And when I say everyone else, I mean anyone who joins you on your journey as a company leader. Put your customers first. And like I'm talking serious sacrifice. Think 5+ years of you putting everyone ahead of you first. You better care more about your team's career than your own career. If someone comes to join you to work with you, their career should be more to you than your own career means to you. Right? Leaders eat last. In our company, we were the last ones to get paid a salary. So, we were the lowest paid people, and we had, I don't know how many people we had, but, it took us a long time until we were able to actually pay ourselves, right? Because we wanted to make sure everyone else gets paid, they have their salary, our customers are taken care of. And then as the owner, as the leader, you get to eat last. My next big lesson learned: when things fail, blame yourself. When things work, praise your team. This is a very important one. A lot we put the Jeff Bezos and the Elon Musks, on this pedestal, the Bill Gateses. But if you look at Elon, I have a lot of respect. I think he's an amazing entrepreneur and innovator. Almost every time you watch him get interviewed, he praises his team. He himself is a visionary, but he can't do anything by himself. So you can't do anything by yourself. It's a team sport, entrepreneurship. And when things work, he praises the team. And when the Model 3 was struggling, my company happened to be a part of that team. We worked on the Model 3 launch team. I was a big part of our business. Um, he blamed himself, right? He slept on the factory floor and fixed it. So when things fail, blame yourself. When things work, praise your team. Next lesson learned. You will learn far more from the hard times than you will from when things go well. So in my personal experience, when I was a football player until I was 30, it's all I cared about. And, I was all in on football. And, 3 years in a row, my last year at UBC, I broke my leg, and then I had to recover and start from scratch. And then the next season, I tore my pectoral muscle. I got hit with a shoe while I'm making a tackle, and I tore this whole pectoral muscle off the bone. So I had to have surgery, had to build myself back up. The next year, I tore my ACL on my knee. So 3 years in a row, had to completely rebuild myself from scratch. I didn't know it at the time, but I was learning a grit and determination that I couldn't have got if everything else went well, right? If I didn't have those experiences, I wouldn't have grown and got better. Life's not fair. It isn't. You got to move forward, right? And we all have different starts in life, and we all get certain kicks at the can, but life's not fair. You just got to wrap that in your head and just figure out what are you going to do about it. And fast forward to the end of my football career, my professional football career, I was playing for the BC Lions. Again, I'm just like as much as I am passionate about business now, I was about the same exact thing about football at the time of my life. And I lost my starting spot in my last year with the BC Lions, and it just devastated me. It destroyed me. And I was playing, in my opinion, I think the best I ever played, but our team wasn't doing well, and I lost my spot, and they made a change, right? And it wasn't fair in my mind, but in retrospect, it was the best possible thing that happened to me because I had I was forced into reinventing myself as a 30-year-old. I had no idea what I was going to do after football, which is okay because I was all in. But by having that experience, it taught me to like really go back to the drawing board and figure out what I was going to do in my life. Fast forward to this past 12 months with COVID-19 and all that's happened in the market, these last 12 months have also been the hardest of my professional life. But I've grown the most by far. Like I learned in the last 12 months way more about leadership and experiential type learning than I got in the first 6 years. That's for sure. When things were just generally working, going from the bottom left of the chart to the top right, over and over again. When things start to get hard, that's when you start learning the most. Next one. I love how Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, says this: be a learn-it-all, not a know-it-all. The equation is rate of learning over time. So, you have to learn on the job when you're going to start, if you're going to be playing the entrepreneurship game. There's no training often for this stuff. You can go and try to supplement that stuff with school and stuff like that. For myself, I did business school, but that helps you a little bit. But there's nothing that can replace actually having experiential training, learning on the job. So your job, if you're going to go out there in the world of entrepreneurship, is to learn fast. Right? And it's like, how much can you learn and how fast can you learn it? That's the game. So be a learn-it-all, not a know-it-all. You don't know anything. I'm learning now, 7 years in, how little I knew when I started the company, thinking I had a good idea of things. I knew literally nothing. I know slightly more. Now, if you look at it, baseball is a 9-inning sport. You have 3 outs per inning. I'm probably at the second out of the first inning in my journey right now. So it doesn't feel like that, but that's the reality. Next one, I think this will be really good for everyone who's listening. Please pay close attention. You work for people. You work to learn. The money comes later. Okay? Focus on working for great people if you can, surrounding yourself with great people. Focus on learning, work to learn, and knowledge gets compensated. Okay? So my suggestion is, if you want to be an entrepreneur, is this something you're interested in? Try to find someone in your community or someone maybe on that presented today and try and that you admire and you think you can learn from, and go shadow that person, work with them, and get experience with them. Myself when I finished my professional football career, I reached out to a bunch of companies through connections and stuff like that, and I took a job as basically an intern. I got paid basically nothing for a year, and I worked and I was like went around to every meeting. I worked with this guy Craig Knight, who's this amazing. He trained at MIT and fancy, real estate development kind of guy. And I just learned so much, and it was the best experience I ever did. I was 30 years old. I had my second kid just come, and it was a pretty big. Actually, sorry, I had my first kid. I'm trying to think now, the timing. But young family, working for free was really hard. We just made it. I had a little bit come in, but it was the best thing I ever did. I mean, I couldn't even make a copy in a copy machine with a piece of paper at that time. I had to get help. I knew nothing, right? So there's nothing wrong with going and just surrounding yourself with great people and work to learn. Now, the next big learning. If you're going to go work for someone, I highly recommend you focus on these things that you can control. Your attitude. So what attitude do you bring with you every day to work? Do you have a growth mindset? Do you have a positive attitude? You can control this. Focus on that. You can control your effort. Hard work is between you and you. And I don't care what anyone tells me. Let people say I'll work smarter, not harder. I'm not convinced. You need to work really smart and you need to work really hard and you still might fail. That's the game you're getting into if you go into the entrepreneurship game. So your effort, your attitude, those are two things that you can control. And I'm going to add a third one that I've learned experientially through this company. How much you care. Okay? Care a lot. If you're going to go work and shadow someone, get knowledge in anything you do in your career, you'd be surprised like how many people I meet that only look at things kind of from their perspective, as the employee working for the company. And there's different layers of this, but I can highly recommend show you care, right? Care a lot about the company, making the company successful, your team, making your team successful. Success floats all boats, not just the senior people, not just the owner. When a company does well, when the team does well, everyone benefits. Okay? Show you care. Next big takeaway. As a leader in an organization, you have to make lots of decisions. Basically, all I do is make decisions now, kind of. And I've heard Jeff Bezos say his job is to make 2 or 3 good decisions a day. So when making a decision, and maybe I did this wrong at the beginning of my entrepreneurship journey, I was only thinking about my perspective when making that decision. Oh, someone wants a raise. They ask you for a raise, right? I like this person. They're pretty good. I might as well give them a raise. And there's a great talk that was done at Stanford by Ben Horowitz, talked about this, the hard thing about hard things. So you need to think about 3 perspectives. Your perspective, I'd like to give that person a raise. I don't want to lose them. They're great. Their perspective, they're thinking, well, maybe I should ask for a raise because I think I've been working really hard and I'm more valuable than maybe I'm being paid for. That makes sense. There's a third perspective, which is everyone else, right? So when you make these decisions, really think through the perspective of everyone else. What's the impact in the greater ecosystem of that decision? Do you just give that person a raise because they asked, or do you actually evaluate talent and give people feedback and properly compensate, results and have a system for that? And this happens a lot in gender type stuff where a lot of women generally don't ask for raises as much as men. And does that, you can't just be only giving grease to the squeaky wheel, right? Think of 3 perspectives every decision you make. Next, balance is a myth. I love what I do, right? I don't have work-life balance. I just have my life. This is what I do. I'm a late bloomer. I stumbled into this a little bit later than most. But this is what I do. I think I hope for the rest of my life, I'm just going to start, build, and operate companies. I'm in the trenches right now. Like I'm working harder in year 7 than I've ever worked in my whole life. And I get punched in the face or punched in the gut every day, only to come back the next day and get punched in the face and punched in the gut, metaphorically, of course. It's hard, right? But every once in a while, a teammate in our company says, I love this company. Or we do something innovative, or we ship a new product, and it's just like, wow, it's like, this is amazing. We made something. I get emotional thinking about this. So that's awesome. I'm going to go very quick. It takes 10 years minimum to do anything. Be patient, okay? If you want to build something that's substantive, that has an impact, you have to be patient. Right now, there's a lot of entrepreneurship awareness happening with Shark Tank and all these things. This is very good. But what's also happening in parallel is a lack of patience. So a lot of people are coming into the world, they want instant gratification. And that doesn't bode well with entrepreneurship, okay? Things take a long time to get built. Like I said, I'm in year 7. We're doing pretty well. It's hard every day. In my mind, I got 3 more years until we built anything of real substance. So we're not even there yet. And trust me, we're working hard. So Instagram went from 0 to $1 billion in 18 months. Assume you're not Instagram. Okay? Assume you're going to have to put the work in. Next, start from the customer problem and work backwards. Okay? You don't need to have a lightning bolt moment. You don't need to say, I got this idea or I need an idea. It doesn't matter how you start. You just start. Just start. Start with a problem. My partner and I, my business partner, we just wanted to work together. We had all kinds of crazy ideas. Technically, our business is supposed to be a 3D printing company business. We haven't done 3D printing for 6 and 3/4 years because we pivoted instantly. But like, you just start with a problem, work backwards, okay? It doesn't matter how you start, just start. If you want to do it, you got to put the work in, and you have to. It's not going to be easy, but start with a problem and work backwards. Next, you go faster alone, but you go further together. My colleague Justin Cabra says this a lot. I know it's out there. Try to find a partner. Starting your company by yourself is really hard. If I can suggest, get a partner, maybe two, maybe no more than that. But like, it's really nice having entrepreneurship is a very lonely game. It's nice to have a partner. Okay. Next one. Entrepreneurship's not for everyone. There's nothing wrong with being a great number two. You know, we have Justin, I just mentioned our company. He might not start his own company, but I tell you what, find me a better number two. I dare you. He's amazing, right? Entrepreneurs can thrive too. This is totally okay. You don't have to always be the co-founder, right? You can have a big impact being the number two or the number 10 person in a company, and there's nothing wrong with this. In fact, some days I wonder if it might be better, especially if you can pick a right team. Okay, next, learn on the job or die. I mentioned you need to be voracious about consuming knowledge and learning every day. In our company, we say 1% better per day. 1% better per day times well over 100 people compounds to about 37% per year times that 100 people. And this has allowed us to reinvent ourselves with new innovation and things I could have never even imagined 5 years ago. We're doing stuff right now I could have never imagined 5 years ago. You don't need a business plan that's fully flushed out. You just need to have a commitment to get better every single day and commit to it. Next, I'm almost done. Sorry, teammates here. I think I'm 1 minute over, but I'm on a roll now. You should try to put yourself out of business regularly. Listen, someone's trying to do it already outside of it. You might as well be the one to do it. Okay, constantly think about how digital is going to change business models will affect you. What's the friction of your customer? You want to swim to the blue ocean. Okay, it's very easy to get attracted to the red ocean where there's a herd of competition. Right, start small. There's a great YouTube video. I highly recommend anyone who's product interested go to. It's called Build the Right It. Build the right it. That's very important. Prototype. So you go find out the problems, do little tests, go away from the lure of the big market. Okay. Nothing wrong with going to a small market. Especially I know there's lots of northern BC. Go to a small market, dominate that market. You want competition, you want to avoid competition, okay? Grow the market after you've dominated that market. Okay. Go to a blue ocean. Don't just say, it's a giant market. It's a big market. You see investors talk about that. Business is 101. You want to avoid competition. Go where the blue ocean is, okay? Avoid the red ocean. Next, you should only judge yourself on what your customers and your own team says. Everyone else's opinion doesn't matter. Remember this. Everyone else's opinion doesn't matter. The only opinions that matter are your customers and your own team. Everyone else is just an opinion you should get rid of. My old coach, Wally Bono, used to say to us when I was playing for the Lions, he said, if we execute our game plan, it doesn't matter what the competition does. It's the same in business. Forget the competition. Don't even spend, for the first 5 years, 6 years, I didn't spend 1 minute on competition. I didn't do SWOT analysis. I did none of that. You just talk to your customer and you listen to your own team because your own team allows you to not be in your own echo chamber. You got to listen to your teammates and be willing to change. Last one. Build a real business. I suggest you do things small and do the lean startup approach, which is just get a customer, serve that customer, learn, pivot, and grow that way. You don't celebrate raising money. There's nothing wrong with raising money if you go down that path and selling equity or whatever, but that should not be your goal. The goal is to build a great product or service that solves big, meaningful problems, creates a culture of innovation, and then use any proceed you get from that business to reinvest inside your business to keep making it better and grow. Right? Put in the time. Nothing comes easy. I promise you, if you do that, it'll be well worth it. Okay, that's it for me. I hope that was okay.